I wanted to go live, and part of my plan for this year is to go live. That way you can see exactly what I'm doing. So we got a lot going on that we need to be handled today. So you can see there's a lot in this greenhouse. So back here, we actually have piles of leaves and black bags. And what that does is it helps retain heat in your greenhouse. So throughout the day, it absorbs the heat. Uh, and when you think about a compost pile, you break the compost down, and then what happens? You see steam, heat coming out of that pile. So same concept. So we have leaves inside the bags producing heat. That way it radiates throughout the night. Now by the time I come out here in the morning, yes, it's going to be cooler, because at that particular point it doesn't matter because the sun is about to come up. But let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to be getting into today. We got a lot to do today. So you can see I have plastic covering my seedlings. You can also see the peas back here. So again, I'm in grow zone 5B, and our peas have to be planted in February because peas typically don't do well in hot weather. At that particular point, you'll start to see them going to seed. You'll start to see the pods get crispy, brown. And so we like to have nice, healthy pea seeds growing from February through about the beginning of May. And so what happens is the seed pods start to pop out. They start as a flower. They'll form into a pod, and then we pick them and more come back. Pick them, more come back. Pick them, more come back. So that's what we like to do. But the reason why I have the plastic over my seedlings is because we want to keep those seedlings as warm as possible. And I discovered that there was a critter in here. Now, I showed you how we keep the greenhouse warm throughout the day, but in order to keep the seedlings warm without using any form of heat, like a heater, I decided to use this plastic and double it up. That way it's going to insulate our seedlings, okay? So along with that, you can see we've got these tops, right, all throughout the greenhouse. And what does it have in it? It has this peppermint. So you can get this peppermint from Walmart, and it's an essential oil. Critters do not like essential oil. So when I say critters, I'm talking squirrels, mice, we're talking chipmunks that may have entered in here. So that peppermint oil, and again, I have it in several different places. So it was a week ago when I saw the critter. I haven't seen that critter since then. Haven't heard anything. Uh, I haven't seen any trace of that critter at all. So peppermint essential oil, lavender essential oils, all of those with those loud smells, the critters do not like. So hello to everyone saying hi. Hello. But yeah, so again, for those of you that are coming in, we got a lot to cover today. I was just catching everybody up on the reason why we turned the heater off in here. We have a critter in here, so we want to make it as uncomfortable as possible. So we've been keeping it cold in the greenhouse. That way, if a critter enters, they're not going to get comfortable and they're going to leave. And so we've been double wrapping our seedlings up in here. The sunlight still hits the seedlings. It's warm underneath. And so that way, all of our seedlings are still going to get the warmth they need. It's not going to get too cold for them at night, and we can keep things rocking and rolling, okay? Also, I told you guys that we have a pile of leaves back here that are covered in black plastic, and so it serves as another form of heat. So it's not going to give you a lot of heat, just a little bit of heat. That way it's going to be warmer in here than it is outside, okay? Now, we'll be planting today. So I got these towards the end of the season last year, And so these are onion sets, okay? So you can see we got yellow onion, white onion, and a red onion. So we got a variety that we'll be planting inside the greenhouse. Now, I will say this. For me, onion typically don't do as well in the greenhouse. But this year, I'm going to get them in there earlier to see if that helps. But otherwise, we'll be planting some outside. We're going to be planting them today. So again, yes, there's still snow outside, but there's still things that have to be done. And things have to be done within a specific time frame. Okay. So I'm going to bring this up here. We'll move this out of the way. So you can see our pea seedlings here. So we've got 3 trays that we'll be planting down at the bottom here in just a second. So we've got a total, I want to say 108 that we'll be planting in here today. Now, throughout the next couple of weeks, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting up a trellis. That way different vines can grow in here throughout the season as well. Okay. Now, the particular peas that I'm going to be planting, some I'm going to put in here as a trial run to see how they go, but the rest I'm going to be planting them outside. Again, I know it's February, it's still snow out here, but we have to get things moving. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what else we have growing in here. It's been a couple of days since I've looked in here, but we got some collards growing here, and this thing is pretty warm. So you can see, got some collards growing in here, and these are vape variety. So if you like vape collard greens, that's what we're growing here. Turn this way a little bit so you can see better. Okay, so these are our collards that we started. We also have cabbages here that we started a week after our collards, and they seem to be doing pretty good too. Okay, so these are some cabbages growing here. So I'm fine with them getting a little bit of air because it's pretty warm underneath. And then we've got some kale growing as well. Now what we're gonna be planting today is so these are our kale here. So the kale is slacking a little bit, but overall they're a smaller plant than your collard. But let's go ahead and get a few of the peas in the ground, in the greenhouse, and then we'll get some in the ground outdoors. Okay. So again, for those of you that are coming in, hello. I see some highs from what is it? Admonin. So hello to you. Okay. All right, let me get everything situated here. Again, we got a lot going on up in here, so I'm gonna take this and set it here. And I'm gonna make some more room so everything's not so cluttered up here. All right, spread this stuff out. So, to those of you that are watching, do you guys have a greenhouse? What is your process of getting your garden started? I'd like to know that. So let me know in the comments below. Again, I know some of you guys are at work. Just bear with me. Come back and check it out later if you want to see everything that we're talking about today. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna bring it down so you guys can see what it is I'm doing. Okay. So hopefully that stays on there. All right. All right, so you can see we've got another essential oil here. So again, essential oil with your like a peppermint, some sort of mint, or a lavender smell is going to help keep the critters out of your greenhouse, especially if you have it nice and warm and toasty, nice and comfortable. Yeah, the critters will come in and try to get a home for the winter. Okay, so now basically what I'm doing is I'm just breaking the soil up. I'm moving the mulch back. I'm just breaking the soil up with my fingers. That way we can have a nice spot to start to plant some of our peas here. Okay, so typically you would want them to be a little bit longer, but you can see they are very hungry and they're starting to come out the bottom, which is fine. So I'm gonna take one, see here, put it along the back there, cover it up, and do the same thing all the way across. And again, I'm not planting all my pea seeds in here because this is kind of a trail run. We've never grown them in here before, so we want to see how things go. But the rest of them we're gonna plant outdoors. Yes, again, I know it's February, it's cold, but they'll be just fine, trust me. Let's get another one in here. All right, so now what we can do, since we got a decent row there, we can take our mulch and then bring it back, cover it up. And then we'll notice over the next couple of days, the roots are gonna spread real good. And yeah, it's gonna really start to establish itself very well over the next couple of days. So we're gonna do another row here, break it up a little bit. All right, so what I want to know from you guys in the comments, have you started your process? What grow zone are you guys in? If you don't get started this early, when do you normally get started? Okay. Now, we have the capability of growing all year round, right? So do you take advantage of that? Do you take a break? What's kind of your process? I'd like to know what you guys do in the comments. It's interesting what people do. Now, I typically don't take a break. I took one the second half of the year, although things kept growing and kept thriving. We had everything set up, but I typically don't take a break. But we had so much going on last year with deaths in the family and just all kind of stuff going on. I kind of had to take a break. So this year I want to be more active with the channel, be more involved with the community. So we were very involved last year. I will say that with Prosper, getting people going with their gardens. But this year we want to take it to another level. All right, so we got those covered there. Now I'm gonna move this mulch back here, get another row in there. Now, also what I'm gonna do is I am going to get some onion right up in here. And the reason why I'm doing that is because that's the area where critters can enter. And typically, they don't like that smell of onion either because it's pretty loud, right? So I'm gonna take a few onion up in here because the critters do like the shells of the peas, and I don't want them coming in here disrupting. So what we gonna do, I'm gonna turn this way a little bit. So what we gonna do is intercrop some onion in there, okay? So in this next row, you can see the roots at the bottom here. We're gonna take them. We're gonna go maybe about 4 inches over or so, and we're gonna drop it in there. Okay, so I'm pre-creating my holes here where we're gonna be dropping onion. Okay, so again, we come into this hole here. We want the roots on the bottom, and we're just gonna place it in there. Now, again, you can grow your onion with peas because onion roots typically don't grow that big, so they won't really disturb. Now, the crazy thing is peas, you could plant them every inch and they'll be just fine. They work very well together. Okay, so we're gonna come here, get another onion up in there. And by the way, for right now, I'm only putting the yellow onion in here. So I'm trying to keep them together so I know what's what. Now I'm gonna take some mulch and put it down. And don't worry, they'll pop straight through there. Don't worry about that. All right, now we're gonna get another row of peas going. And then we'll probably intercrop some more onion up in here as well, okay? So let's get some more peas here. Now, what variety of peas do you guys grow? I know a lot of you like the sugar snap peas. Some of you have that Oregon variety. Some have the sugar, what is it, sugar daddies, I think is another variety. So there's a lot of different variety of peas. Some people have the snow, I think it's snow crab peas is a variety. I think there's another one that's grown on the West Coast. So let me know what variety do you guys like to grow. So again, it is pea season, everyone. For those of you guys that have some cooler weather. Now, when I lived in Nashville, I would try to grow peas and they never did good. I moved to Indiana and those peas just took off. But then you get to learn that, you know, the peas like that cooler weather, and you have to have that specific weather unless you have a heat tolerant variety. All right, so just be mindful of that as well. Looks like we missed a spot there. And these peas, we actually started from seed. I don't know if maybe it's been a week. I don't know. I don't quite know how long it's been, but hello to everybody that's coming in. You got any questions for me? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll try to check them out. So if you're just getting in here, we are actually planting peas and onion right now, and we'll be putting some outdoors too. Right now we're in the greenhouse getting things going. All right, so I'm gonna do another row of onion. This time we're gonna do the red onion. Again, we want to put these by any entryway where critters can get in because they don't like loud smells. So we're gonna come here. You guys can see that. And we're just gonna pop one in there. Come there, pop another one in there. Pop another one. Another one. Now we're gonna cover them all up, and then we'll water all this in at some point as well. Okay, so this is a good start to get a couple nice and established. We're gonna work our way outdoors. It's a pretty nice day outside. It's about 50 degrees right now, which is very odd because I think the highest temperature we have felt over the last several weeks has been maybe in the 20s, but most of the time it's been well below 10 degrees. So we're talking just negatives across the board for weeks on top of weeks. Okay. So let's go ahead and head outside. So I appreciate you guys for move outside. All right. So I'm gonna grab another tray of peas here. I'm gonna grab those. And we'll be moving outside. So you can see we still got some snow out here. Man, it's pretty warm in this greenhouse. Look at that. We're at almost 90 degrees in here just from the sun shining. All right. Let's go ahead and move outside. All right, just coming in. Peas and onion and the green. Now we're gonna plant some outside. You can see we still got snow out here. Now this row here is spinach. So I planted this when it was freezing cold outside. I think it was maybe 10 degrees when I planted that. Put a little plastic over it so it can get a head start on the heat that it needs, because the good germination temperature, I want to say, is like between 50 and 60. So I'm sure it's been getting that. So over the next couple of days, we'll check that out. So again, yes, it's been pretty cold outside. I'm grow zone 5B. Let me know what your grow zone is. Have you started planting? What are you gonna plant? I'm interested to know what you guys got going on. 1 second again. All right, sorry about that. We're back here. Sorry about that. We had to get the camera set. And there we go. All right, so we're gonna put this batch of peas here along the back. So you can see we got this trellis back here. I'm not sure how well or not you can see the netting, but we're gonna start planting some peas, okay? So all I'm gonna do is I had a shovel over here. I'm gonna take my shovel, okay? I'm gonna take my shovel, and then I'm just kind of breaking it down all the way across. All right, so step in here, turn this way so you guys can see. We're just breaking it up. Still a little hard in some spots. Now, typically when that happens, when it's pretty hard, there's two options you can do. So you can get some hot water and pour it across, or you can take some soil from a bag of soil you may have, dump it on top, and as they get established, they'll start to work its way through the rest of the soil you have. But I think we got it good enough to where we can get it going. All right, so now we really gonna break it through. So we basically kind of creating a trench. That way we really can get those seedlings in there. It's a little frozen right there, but it's all right. We got to get this stuff done today because we have a very short window, and where we are, it's either extremely hot or extremely cold. So any cool weather crop you have, you got to hurry up and get it in there before it's too late. All right, so let's grab some of our pea plants here. You can see the roots on those things. I don't know if you can see them from back there, But look at those roots. They're hungry. They're ready to eat. All right, so let's take this first one here. Let me get my shovel. And it may be I may have to get some soil and dump it on top. I thought it was a little bit more thawed out than this. Again, if you have hot water, you can pour it on and break it up. I have some water over here. I'm gonna see if it helps break it up. If not, then I'm gonna have to get some soil. I have just dump it on top so we can get them in there. So let's see if this helps. So this is what it's like in Grow Zone 5B, getting things going. It can be tough sometimes. There we go. Yep, she's breaking up now. Real nice. All right. All right, so we got our first one going in now. And again, over the next couple of days, this will melt out real good. We got some near 50-degree weather. We may put a little plastic over it to kind of keep it a little bit warmer to keep things going. But yeah, we gotta get it in the ground today. We have to. Very short window. So those of you that just coming in, hello, thank you for joining. We are planting. It is time to get this garden going. Gonna pop some of these out. Now, generally, my collards, I like to get them out no later than March. Cabbages around the same time, broccoli around the same time. I'll be planting some broccoli from seed this week. Okay. So I'm a little bit behind on where I normally am with the broccoli, but it's all right though. I think broccoli is one of those things we eat the least amount of, so I've been kind of slacking on the broccoli, but we'll get it in this week. So if you're just joining us, I'd like to know what Grow Zone you're in. Have you started planting anything? What's your process? When do you normally get started? Do you plant in the snow like I do? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. So right now, we got about 10 plants planted, and we're gonna get them nice and watered in. We're gonna mulch them really good, and then we'll probably cover them with plastic. That way they can get some nice insulation. Now, right next to the peas here, we've got a row of spinach that I planted a couple of days ago, and I literally planted those in the snow. I had to move maybe about 13 feet high snow off of this just to plant that in there, but you got to do what you got to do, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta get those plants in there at the right time in the right season if you want to get the right harvest. So that's the reason why we came out here and got that done. All right, so let's get a couple more in here. One plant there. Let's get another one over here. And again, when you're planting your seeds, you can plant them an inch apart, 2 inches, 3 inches apart. They'll do just fine. So you don't have to really worry much about spacing. Let's get more in here. Now, the peas that we planted in the greenhouse are gonna start off pretty good, but at the end of the day, the ones outside are gonna get a slower start, but they'll end up producing the most because they're in their right climate. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that all plays out. So we'll do a couple more here in this row. Got 2 more. Now, I know a lot of you are probably asking, am I afraid that the plants are gonna die? Nope, I'm not. When it comes to gardening, you cannot baby your plants. If they're cool weather crops, they need to be out in cool weather. If they're not, then they need to go in this proper, they need to be planted at this proper time. So for your spinach, your peas, you can even get radishes out here, cilantro, all of those cool weather. Like when I say cool, I mean a little bit cooler than cool weather crops. You need to get out here now. Not in April, not in May, not in June, unless you have a heat tolerant spinach variety that can grow in summer, or a heat tolerant pea variety. This does not need to be planted in April, May, and June. You're not gonna get a good harvest if you do that. So pay attention to your crops and the timing. If Don't worry about it. If the time is now, get them out here now. Do not baby your crops, right? Now, one thing too, a lot of plants like collards, for example, I could fully grow collards in my greenhouse, but they're gonna do better outdoors. Even if it's super cold, even if it's warm, plants that we eat are supposed to be outdoors. Again, yes, if you're somewhere like Antarctica or something, I get it, I understand. But you just cannot baby your plants, all right? And once you get to that point, your garden is gonna thrive. Trust me. So just get it out there when they're supposed to be out there. Don't worry about it. If they're cool weather crops and they're out here in this cool weather, they'll be just fine. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna mulch all of this really good. Okay. So we're gonna take some mulch, and I think I got some right here. So we're gonna take some mulch it up good. We'll probably get some plastic and cover them up for maybe a couple of days so they get nice and established, so that the rest of the soil thaws out. Then we're gonna take it off for the rest of the season, and it's gonna do whatever it needs to do. Even if the temperature drops below 30 or whatever, it's gonna be just fine. Trust me. So let me go ahead and get some. Let me get some mulch just right here. So I'm picking it up right here. All right, so we got our mulch here, and we're just gonna kind of set it around the area here. So right in between each plant. We're gonna get a little bit of mulch in there. Now, as this mulch starts to break down, it's gonna also give it more heat in here. So for those of you that are worried about the heat, you don't have to. You're just getting everything established right where it needs to be. Take some more here. Well, looks like we got another plant right here that needs to go in there. All right. So we got our peas in there. Again, if you are concerned about your plants dying, for your comfort, maybe you put a little plastic on them. But again, we're not here to baby them. So for a couple of days, I'm gonna put some down. Let's go ahead and get that going. Because tonight I think we're going down to, the last time I looked, maybe 15 or something, but they'll be all right. So we're gonna take this plastic, we're gonna tuck this in under the spinach end, and then over the next couple of days we're gonna take this off and everything will be on its own. So we're gonna take this one. Walk it around here. Do the same thing. We're gonna tuck this in under where the spinach is. We don't have to worry about watering because everything underneath is iced. And it'll melt and start to water on its own. So we don't have to worry about that. All right, so we got that tucked. Now we just got to get some mulch to hold it down and insulate it more on that side. And we got those peas ready to go over here. So I'm stepping right here to get more mulch to hold it down. And then we'll be on our way. All right, so we're gonna put mulch down there. Again, if you guys are just coming in, probably see some of this snow and you're probably freaking out. Again, we cannot baby our crops. They gotta get to where they need to be, and they gotta get outside if they're cool weather crops. Okay? We cannot baby them. Take this, throw it over there. So now we've got a row of peas here. We got a row of spinach. Now the spinach takes a little time to germinate. It's got a very delicate process. It has to have the perfect temperature. So I won't even check on those for 2 weeks. Now, if I see them starting to pop up, that's one thing, but I don't expect to see any activity from my spinach for a couple of weeks. It needs their timing, and then it needs that right temperature. It's kind of funny, but you'll learn this as you go along. All right, so now we'll see if we can get some onion in here, in this area right here. Now with the onion, if the ground is thawed out enough, I'm not going to cover those up. They'll be fine. So let's see. Yeah, it's still kind of hard in here. So yeah, maybe in a couple days we'll work on that. So again, today we talked about heating up your greenhouse or whatever area you have when you don't have a heat source like a heater. We talked about that. So you're gonna need some bags of leaves or some bags of straw or something in a black bag which retains the heat. We also talked about if you do have a greenhouse and you've got critters in there, we talked about putting some peppermint oil in some little containers, sat them around. Critters do not like that smell. It's too loud, it's too much. And then, you know, every couple of days or once a week or whatever, you come in and you put more in there, keep the process going. And then with critters in your greenhouse or in your shed, wherever you're growing, you want to make it as uncomfortable as possible. So we've been keeping our greenhouse with no extra heat sources to make it very uncomfortable. So if they come through, they're not gonna stay. And so we've doubled up our ceilings in plastic to keep them insulated. That's another step too. If you don't want to purchase heat sources, well, you can't purchase heat sources, right? So let's go back into the greenhouse and see what else we got going. Sorry about that. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, getting this thing on and off of the tripod has kind of been a headache, but let's go ahead and get this camera set up again. So my apologies if you cut out. We're gonna get better. We're gonna get all of this together this year. We're gonna get together, I promise. Last year was a pretty busy year. Like I told you guys, a lot of deaths in the family. So we're just trying to get ourselves back together. Okay. So do you guys have any questions? Anybody that's tuned in right now, do you have any questions? I see someone saying hi. I'm Arabic. Okay, hey, how you doing? Anybody got any questions? So again, we got a lot going on up in here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wrap these seedlings back up because it's gonna start to get a little cold again. And we don't want to take the chance on having to start things all over. So we've got our collards growing here. For those of you that don't know, we grow all sorts of variety of collards. This first variety we have is called Vates. These are pretty cold hardy. They taste good, but I think the collard variety for me that tastes the best is probably gonna be your Morris Heading. So your Morris Heading is, for me, is more closely related to a cabbage taste. The most productive, I would say, well, the quickest growing collard is your Flash Collard. You've got so many different collards. I know a lot of you like the southern Georgia collards. Those are pretty good. Yeah, there's just so many different variety. We also have kale we're growing. So we're also growing a red kale variety. Those are pretty good. We're pretty big salad people, so the red kale is pretty good. We also have cabbages growing. We've got some more peas growing down there. And we just gonna start covering this stuff up because the sun will be going down pretty soon on this side of the house. And so that's when things start to cool down. Now, for the bottom here, we'll probably water those a little bit So for those of you that didn't see the beginning of the video, we planted some peas inside the greenhouse. You can check that part of the video out. Now, what I'm gonna do for consistency's sake, I'm gonna take all of these tops off, and then I'm gonna triple wrap them up, because I think it's gonna get it cold tonight, and then I can use this to start planting something else. So we're gonna take these tops and we're gonna use them to plant something else indoors. Okay, so now this back row here is what we're gonna pull over after we layer them up here. And probably tomorrow we'll take a black sheet of plastic and put it along this wall here to create more heat, because it's still gonna be kind of cool for the next couple of days, well, couple of weeks, I'm sorry. I mean, even going into March, it's gonna be cool, but we are going to make sure these seedlings do not die off. Some of them are still fragile. And so again, if you want to insulate or even start your seedlings from scratch, you can always use your plastic. All right, so we're just gonna take this plastic and cover it up from there. Just slide them all the way back, tuck it under. And we've been kind of doing this throughout the winter, because when you have to keep buying these tops over and over, it can start to get expensive. They get fragile, they break. And so if you want an efficient way of doing it, this is another way you can do it. When you're done with them, it gets hot outside, you can take them, you can wrap them back up, you can fold them and reuse them for the next season. I'm gonna do the same thing down here. Tuck it under real good so that the extra air doesn't get in there. All the way down. And so some of you might be thinking, what are we gonna do with the extra PCs we got, or seedlings we have? Oh, those are gonna get planted too. Don't worry, those will get planted. Now we're gonna take it down from the wall here. And then we start to double it up. So yeah, this plastic is a lifesaver too when it comes to your crops. Lifesaver. It's gonna insulate it good. You still gonna get good light on your seedlings. Now, sometime in the next week or two, I'll be building a I'm not gonna say it's a greenhouse, kind of like a hoop house, but it's gonna be for tropical plants. And I know that the next winter we've got a ways to go, but I want to get everything tropical established in a proper place where it's gonna get the most sunlight as possible for this next winter season, which it's gonna be here before we know it. So when we get everything set up, we're gonna have bananas, we're gonna have lemon trees, orange trees, we'll have grapefruit trees, kiwis. We're gonna have an entire tropical section that's gonna grow throughout the summer going into the winter. And then what's gonna happen once the winter comes, it's gonna be a hoop house, and then we're gonna pack it up around the whole hoop house with nothing but the top open where the sunlight can come through. And it's going to be a system to where we don't need a heater. So the mulch is going to act as a source of heat the entire thing. That way I don't have to worry about putting a heater in there and doing this and doing that. You know, you use a lot of energy if you decide to use gas, if you decide to use some sort of oven stove or electric heater. So we're starting to move into different ways of doing things to where we can use the materials from the earth to create the heat and what we need. We have everything we need. We just got to use it, right? So yeah, we're gonna start to use everything we got. This next stream will be better. Yeah, I just can't get things together today, kind of. But yeah, the next stream will be better. I learned a lot from this one. But yeah, we're starting to move on to methods where we just gonna use what we got, you know. We gonna use what we got. We've been studying, learning a lot. And so even this greenhouse here, we could pile a bunch of wood chips or straw and hay around this entire thing to keep it insulated throughout the entire winter. And I was gonna do it last year, but you know, I didn't want to attract critters, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We just gotta get a process to where we're gonna make it as uncomfortable as possible for them. Now everybody's gonna deal with some sort of pest, right? You're gonna deal with cabbage moths, you're gonna deal with, you know, chipmunks, you're gonna deal with aphids, you're gonna deal with something. Now your first season, you may not have to deal with much, but once the ecosystem, once the birds and everything that's near finds out that you have a source of food for them, they're gonna start to come. So you have to realize that everybody's gonna get their fair share. I think as a rule of thumb, I want to say 30% of your garden is gonna go to insect and whatever critters are gonna come through. Last year we had possums, an influx of possums, right, to come through. Now it's funny because the cats could keep everything else away except the possums, which is weird. I don't know if it's because how they look or what. If you know more about that, let me know. But we had possums came through and ate all of our tomatillos. So if you don't know what they are, they're kind of like tomatoes, but kind of not. They came, ate all of that up. They came and ate all of the corn. They came and ate a lot of the watermelon. So we're all going to deal with something. We just have to be prepared and not let it take over our emotions, right? Because we got to deal with it. We just got to learn from it and be better the next year, okay? So if you have dealt with some crazy pests, I want to know what you've dealt with in the comments, because we all deal with something. Now, I will say this. When I lived in Tennessee, I didn't have much problems with mammals per se. I had more issues with insects. Now, the first gardens that I built in my mom's house in Illinois, she's in the Chicago area. I remember the squirrels and the chipmunks being a menace. But we're talking, that was way back in like 2005. So no matter where it is on the map you are, you're going to deal with something. All right. So that's what I got for you guys today. We kind of went through a lot. We'll be doing these lives more often, because trying to put videos together and doing all that editing and all that stuff, it can be a lot. So we'll probably just rock it out this way, just going live. That way you can see everything that's going on. All right. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Till the next time. Peace.